This week's Michigan Lottery Excellence in Education winner is John Clack from Mount Pleasant High School. John, we have a video from your nominator. Let's take a look.
I nominated John first for his many years of teaching, but also for the countless hours he has spent after school setting up his stage for an event such as choir, orchestra, or band, making sure that the lighting and audio is where it should be, all so that the event will be successful. I've seen firsthand the many hours he has spent with theater, teaching, directing, and producing over 100 productions, inspiring many to pursue careers in theater. The sets he creates are second to none, so that the kids will have an experience that they can be proud of and remember for years to come. He is very supportive of all past and present students, and if they are in a production, he will try to get to it to see them to support them. This award is well-deserved, and it has been my pleasure to have worked alongside you these past 12 years on all the sets. Well-deserved, my friend, well-deserved.
John, what goes through your head when you were watching that?
My pal Bob, he's been with me. He saw me, his sons were in a production of mine, and he saw me scrambling around opening night trying to put the finishing touches on this set because darn it, it was not going to not be ready. And he saw that and said, that's never happening again. And so he's been by my side, pushing through late nights, long weekends for years. And even after his kids graduated from school, Bob's still there every Saturday and works with me tirelessly. So
a lot of your students have gone on to perform in New York and larger Broadway houses and houses like that. What is that like for you?
It's incredible. I have so much pride. I just actually did a trip to New York last summer, and my son is one of my former students who is a performer in New York now, and he was playing Tevye, his first professional New York gig, and at Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, and I was going to a theater conference. So I said, I'm going to be in town, and I put out sort of a mass email and said, any of my former students, I had this huge group of kids who are, well, they're not kids anymore, but many of whom are working in performance. I've got a few actors, New York actors, and different people in different aspects of the performance industry who all came together, and it was just a great time to be able to see them and then go up and see my son and then come back down, and I met up with more of them in different places. It was really, really fantastic.
How long have you been doing this?
It's my 32nd year of teaching and 29 years at Mount Pleasant High School.
The interesting thing is this has been a big year for you because you also won another big award this year.
I did. Last spring I was honored as the Teacher of the Year by the Sutton Foster Awards at the Wharton Center. Well, it's through the Wharton Center. The awards were done this year at the Fisher Theater in Detroit. And that was a huge surprise and a really big deal. I was really honored.
What's it mean to you to know that you continue to make such a big impact on young people's lives?
You know, that is the reason that I teach. It's interesting that you use that phrase because when I was thinking about, they said, well, what inspires you to teach? And it was that I can have an impact on the world, on people's lives. I have a little anecdote. I had a parent of a former student come up and see me one day, it was a few years back, and say, you saved my son's life. And I went, how? I didn't know what she was talking about. And apparently, unbeknownst to me, her son had been suicidal. And you know, any parent would be worried out of their minds about that. And I didn't know that about this kid. And I saw this kid and I went, you know, I gotten to know him a little bit and said, you need to come out for the fall play. You need to get, you're a theater kid whether you know it or not. And I got this kid to audition and I cast him in our fall production. And through that, he found a home in theater. He found a group of friends. And that was what walked him back from that kind of ideation. And and I had no idea. But that kind of an impact, you don't always know the impact you're going to have. But I do see it. I do see it in my, like you mentioned, my former students will go on and do fantastic things. So
Yeah. And so when you hear those stories, that just has to melt your heart a little bit.
blew me away. I was just like, oh, I had no idea, and just so grateful for the chance to, everybody's on their own path, right? We all have our own journey in life, and high school, those are formative years. The experiences you have there go into making you the person you're going to be, and being able to do this for 32 years and be on so many people's path and part of their journey, it's a privilege for me, and it makes me grateful and keeps me going to work every day.
One last question. You work a lot of Saturdays and Sundays and weekends and
I do.
After school hours. Why do you do that?
I don't know. I do it, I guess, because I love it. It's exhausting sometimes. I would be lying if I didn't say retirement is a lot closer than my beginning years. But it's a little scary, the idea of retiring too, because I'm not sure who I am if I'm not teaching. So I guess we'll have to see, though.
Right. Well, you're an amazing man who's made a big impact on a lot of people's lives. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
John from Mount Pleasant High School receives a $2,000 check from the Michigan Lottery. Excellence in Education Awards sponsored by the Michigan Lottery, providing more than $28 billion to public education since 1972.